Alright, what is good, ladies and gentlemen, is Themasr ranker back again with another ranking, and today we are doing a ranking for all of the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 5 characters. That is right, we finished the review for Part 5, and so now we are doing the character ranking. And so yeah, let us just get into it. I do have the character names pulled up here as usual, and so let's just starting off with Bucciarati, which I would give him probably, honestly, not A tier. I'm going to go B for Bucciarati. I think that he's a good character. He's like the leader of his crew, kind of, but he does feel like a bit basic. He does, I guess it's interesting, he ends up like dying at the hands of Diablo like halfway through the series, and he's just kind of just like this reanimated corpse for the second half. But yeah, he's fine. He's just pretty basic. His goal is just like defeat Diablo, and I don't know, just a lot of the characters in this part, it's like they're not as, I want to say, interesting as like some of the previous parts, but he's still fine. I would say B tier. This is Karn, I think his name was. Yeah, let's hear. Yeah, Karn, I would give him D/F tier. His whole, like, the purpose of him is to just like be a suicide warrior, basically. So he ends up facing Mistub, and he just lets himself get killed in order for his stand to activate. What do I do? He ends up letting himself get killed for his stand to activate Notorious. They call it, apparently, like, they have to avoid copyright laws, so yeah, they call it Notorious Chase, but yeah, it's in Japanese, it's Notorious B.I.G., Notorious Big, so yeah, D/F tier, just because he's not really a character. His stand is like more interesting than Chocolata, yeah. This dude is sadistic as fuck. This dude is somehow like more fucked up than Angelo, which I remember that he was in the, like in the show, but I don't know, it's been a while since I saw both Part 4 and Part 5, so I forgot how messed up these characters can get. Yeah, I would give him probably, we'll go C for Chocolata, because yeah, he's really messed up and stuff, but he is like a bit more, I'll say he's better than Angelo. He's got a bit more, not charisma, but I don't even know, just I guess the character is a bit more interesting, and he's less pathetic than I guess Angelo was. Angelo was like pretty pathetic in Part 4, and this dude is like a bit more interesting to watch in his scenes, I would say, so we'll go C tier. Diablo, I'm going to give A tier. He's not an S tier villain, but he is still a very good villain, I would say. I did not like him as much as Kira from Part 4, or probably even Dio from like Part 3. He's about on the same level as Dio from Part 3, I would say, like at least at the end, because they both feel pretty similar, like these very arrogant characters that think of themselves as like way superior to like anyone that they face. And then at the end of these situations where it's like they're clearly losing, but it's like they can still be like, oh, it's fine, I can still get out of this alive and stuff. And yeah, he honestly does feel pretty similar to Dio. Just I guess Dio feels a bit more self-centered, and Diablo feels a bit more just, I don't know, cocky maybe. But yeah, I still think that he's cool. I do like the character himself. I think he's like way too obsessed with anonymity. Like there have been mafia bosses in the past that have been like pretty public, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, the fact that he's like, oh, no one can know my identity, not even like I need my alternate personality to act as my conciliere, just so that I can like relay the information that I need to my familia. It's like yeah, I guess there's people coming after him, but still, it's like he claims to be this like extremely powerful stand user. So it's like even if someone goes after him, it's like he could still probably defeat them. So I don't know, he's too obsessed with anonymity, I feel like, but even so, I'd still give him A tier. Yeah, I like him a lot. Jotaro Kujo, he does make a brief cameo in this part. Not a lot, really, so I'll just give him like C tier, because he is just meant to be like a cameo. He's not really a very important character in the part, so for that reason, just C tier. Koichi, on the other hand, I will give him B tier, because he is also kind of meant to be a cameo, but he does actually show up a bit more, and so it's cool to see him back. Really just, yeah, the scene where it's like he actually uses Act 3 on Giorno, like while Giorno's trying to escape, I thought that was good, and so yeah, overall I give him like B tier, I would say. Cameo. Polnareff the third kind of came, I mean, he's a bit less of a cameo, he's a bit more of an actual character this part. Yeah, I would say that Polnareff, I would give him like, oh wait, here, it's just nice to see Polnareff back, like even if he is like, I'm not gonna say a shout out of his former self, like he's weaker, yeah, but he is still a good character. And he's not as goofy, he's definitely like a lot more serious this time around, like with I guess age. Apparently, he's only 38, like I can't believe that, like Part 2 already, like, sorry, Part 3 already, like him being in his 20s is a bit unbelievable. He looks older than that, but him being in his 30s here just feels very, yeah, he needs to get on some sort of like, I don't know, skincare regimen or something like that, because he looks like he's in his, I honestly, before I forgot like how old he was in this part, so going into it I thought like, oh, he's in his 50s or 60s or something like that, but no, he's not even in his 40s yet, so yeah, A tier still. He is a good character, and he's not in the part a lot, but even so, it's just nice to see like a character from the past return, and he's pretty important, I'd say. So overall, I give him A tier. This is the dude that tried to hire Bucciarati and his gang to kill the statue sculptor, I'd give him like D/F tier because he's not really that important of a character. He just kind of wants revenge for his daughter's death, I guess, but it wasn't really the dude's fault in the end, so just D/F tier. This dude, I forgot his name, let's see here. A lot of these names are in Italian, so Formaggio, I don't care for him, D/F tier. A lot of the assassins, my big critique, the worst thing I said about part 5 was just the fact that so many of the assassins that go after the Bucciarati's gang, they just feel so similar, and so because of that, at the very least part 4, it's you had a lot of users that went after Josuke and Jotaro and stuff, but at the very least a lot of them ended up becoming allies of the main characters afterwards, so that was pretty cool. In this part, it's okay, just these throwaway assassins that's we have for one episode, or 1 or 2 episodes, and then we just end up killing, and they all feel very similar to each other. So yeah, I'm just gonna say Formaggio D/F tier. I didn't care for him too much. This fortune teller dude that ends up trying to read Doppio's fortune, D/F tier. Don't care for him. He was meant to be in one scene that kind of shows off that there's a mysterious nature to Doppio, aka Diablo. So don't care for him too much. The gangster that ends up saving Giorno when he was younger, I'll go C tier. He's, not really that prominent of a character, but I guess he is pretty cool in the few scenes that he's in. So C tier. I don't remember. I think this is Gelato and this is Sorbet, and I'm giving them both D/F tier. I feel bad for them, honestly. This dude I think got chopped up, this one got chopped up. This dude had to suffocate himself in order to avoid getting chopped up. So yeah, I feel bad for them. It feels yeah, they probably weren't good dudes, but it feels they didn't deserve the fate that they got at the hands of Chocolata. But even so, they're just not really important characters. They're kind of just meant to be motivation for the Hitman team to end up going after the boss. So I guess they leave a big impact in that case, but even so, I just don't really care for them too much, so we're just going to go D/F tier. Giovanna, I'm going to give him... Honestly, I feel B tier is even being a bit generous. I'll be generous. I guess I'll give him B tier. He's a bit better at the start of the part, but then when he actually ends up joining Bucciarati's crew, then it does feel a bit more he gets overshadowed by some of the other characters, Bacchio, Nista, and Racha. It feels they feel more prominent than him, so... Yeah, out of all the Joe stars, I would say that he's not even, you could argue he's not he is a Joe star, he has Joe star blood in him, but yeah, honestly, I like all the other ones better. Even Josuke, which I thought, even Josuke in part 4, he felt a bit lacking compared to Jotaro or Joseph or Jonathan in the previous parts. Even Josuke felt a bit more I don't know, he was a bit interesting, he felt a bit different, he was a bit more of the carefree type, and he was very much kind of, he had some comedic bits to him here and there, which similar to, I guess, Joseph in a way, and he had some stoic hardcore moments like Jotaro did, but then Jotaro is I don't know, he never feels there's any emotion with his character, to be honest. There's a few moments, I think when Naracha ends up dying, that was a decent scene, and so he's not terrible, but it does feel he gets overshadowed by a lot of the other characters around him, so just feature, I'd say. This is, I think, Giorno's mother. I think she's just in a flashback, and that's it, so I'm just going to say D/F tier. She is not really that important of a character, and so, yeah, she's in a flashback showing that she wasn't really a great mother to Giorno, and that's it. So, this dude, I forgot his name, let's see here. It's the one with White Album, I remember that was the stand. Chiaccio, yeah, okay, this was the only member of the Hitman team besides Risotto that I actually thought was, well, not the only, there was a few members of the Hitman team, but out of the Hitman members, I thought that he was actually, I'll give him B tier, because I actually did the whole aspect of his character where it's he was very angry a lot of the time. He gets upset about people mispronouncing Venezia. He says that they pronounce it Venice, which is wrong and stuff. So I like the fact that he just gets angry at very minor stuff. So I thought that was good. So I'll give him B tier for that. Mista, I will give him either B or A tier, and he does feel he feels the Polnareff of this part. I'll be generous. I'll give him A tier. I thought that he's good. He feels when I say the Polnareff of this part, I mean if Polnareff is in this part, he feels what Polnareff was in part 3, where Polnareff definitely got a lot more screen time. It kind of felt compared to Jotaro, and it doesn't feel it's on that same level where that was a bit more egregious, I'll say. But in this part, it does feel Mista gets a lot of the screen time, just maybe with the whole thing of his stand being so dynamic in a lot of situations. He can just use it in so many situations that they end up using him a lot. So I would say he's good. He's got a good personality to him, and yeah, the stand, I mean, again, this is not ranking the stands themselves, this is just meant to be the characters, but these characters also pretty good, I would say, so A tier. This dude is Giorno's stepfather that just ended up I think at first he was nice to Giorno, but then he ended up kind of abusing him or something like that, so D/F tier, not great. Abusers are not good, definite D/F tier minimum. This is, I remember his name is called Man in the Mirror. I don't remember his name. It's like something with I. Yeah, Illuso, D/F. This dude is, I think some of the, I'll say this, this is usually the case in general, but like the stands are usually better than the stand users. And I'll say in this part specifically, probably, I don't know about, I don't know, in previous parts it's like the stand users were also like pretty good, I would say, but this part definitely has some of the most boring stand users with this dude. I remember like nothing about his personality. I remember him like only for his stand himself. I think he's just another just hitman that goes after Bucciarati's gang. That was it. I just, yeah, don't remember anything about him, so D/F here. Abacchio, I will give him, I'm gonna go, honestly, by the way, this is probably like in media context. I wouldn't say that this is not overall context. So you know what, I'll give Abacchio S tier. I think that he was my favorite character from, okay, you know what, maybe not S tier, because, I don't know, you know what, fine, we'll go A tier. I'm gonna be a bit harsh with it. But he was definitely one of my favorite characters from, Passione is like the whole organization. Bucciarati's crew, I keep calling him Bucciarati's crew because it was like Bucciarati's gang. So anyway, but Abacchio, I think that he was great. I liked his backstory. I think it was the best backstory out of all the characters. And I would say that his death was good. His actual, it feels like, I don't know, he's a bit underutilized. It does feel like Mista and Narancia are more of like the prominent characters of the gang. Fugo just ends up leaving. Abacchio, it feels like he has, I would have liked to see him a bit more, I would say, for me to rank him a bit higher. We'll go A for Abacchio, I guess. So, yeah. This dude, another just hitman member that I don't care for, or D/F tier. This dude was, what's his name even? Malone. Yeah, Malone, I would say, was not really that great. He was another stand user going out. His stand, especially, even his stand, I didn't really like that much. But yeah, he just kind of was a bit weird. He was like using his computer and stuff and to control a stand, and I just don't really care for him, honestly. I would say D/F tier. Leaky Eye Luca, another D/F tier, just another kind of member of Passione that gets in the way of Giorno. He's like the first dude. He's not actually a stand user, I'm pretty sure. It's just someone that Giorno ends up fighting in the start phase. Even Giorno tries to avoid it, but Leaky Eye Luca, like, he gets in the way of Giorno, so he doesn't let Giorno leave, so Giorno doesn't have a choice. Yeah, D/F tier. Narancia, I would give him probably, I'm gonna go A tier. I'm gonna, actually not even A tier, I'll say S tier. I think that out of all the characters of the gang, I would say Narancia was probably my favorite. I think that he was, yeah, definitely the one that like probably showed the most emotion, I would say, which I thought was good. So definitely he was my favorite character from the gang. He is, yeah, spoiler alert, he ends up dying, which was a good scene as well. And yeah, he was, again, he was my favorite character from Bucciarati's gang and one of the best characters in the whole show. A lot of good scenes with him. So yeah, Fugo, I'm going to give him B tier, and it's a big change because he is a good character, but then he just like ends up leaving halfway through the show and we don't get to see him. He ends up deciding he does not want to go along with the mission of like actually going to betraying the Familia and defeating the boss. So he ends up not going along, and it was because apparently, yeah, Araki initially had planned for him to end up betraying Bucciarati and the rest of the crew, but at the time Araki didn't want to like go through with it, so he ended up just like having him leave halfway through, which just is a shame because he's a good, interesting character, I would say. And so I'm just gonna go B tier. I think his name, okay, this dude's name Pericole, I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Pericolo. I would give him, C tier. He's not like that important. I mean, he's an important character, but he does just kind of like show up here and there to give information to Bucciarati's gang for how to like go about delivering Trish and stuff. And he's fine. He's like, it's always interesting scenes with him, but he's not really that, you know, he's not as like prominent as some of these other characters. So Pesci, I would give Pesci A tier. I thought Pesci was great. He was probably my favorite, like, actually, not my favorite hitman. I think there's one hitman that I think I liked a bit better, but out of all the hitman, he was like a bit more unique. He has like a bit more of a unique design compared to a lot of these other like hitman. I would say that here, like Formaggio and Illuso, they kind of look like very, not similar, but just very like boring, I feel like. And here Malone looks a bit different, but yeah, I would say that Pesci, he was good. I just liked his character personality in general. Like, he was very much a coward and stuff, and I liked his, like, him and his brother, what was his brother's name? His brother's name was this dude, which would be, what's his name? It was something with, I moved the tab by accident. It's here. His brother's name was Prosciutto. Yeah, so I thought that his, like, relationship with his brother, like, his brother telling him like, oh, it's like you have potential and stuff, and it's like, I thought that those aspects were good, and ultimately, yeah, he was a good character. I'd say A tier. This is Abakio's old partner, and I will give him B tier just for the one scene that he was in where Abakio when Abakio actually ends up dying, and then he meets him again, and so I thought that was a great scene, and so for that I'm giving him B tier. Yeah, but he was just the partner that Abakio ended up like kind of, in a way, Abakio got him killed because he took a bribe, which ended up leading to a guy not getting arrested, which ended up killing this dude. So, yeah, I would say that he is still, I give him B tier because he was good for like the one scene that he was in when Abakio actually ends up dying, and like he comforts him, telling him like, no, you did a lot of good, like you're a good person and stuff. So, yeah, Pulpo, I would give Pulpo. I'll go B tier. I think that he was good. I would say he's pretty prominent and an important character, and he was good for like the few scenes he was in at the start of the part. And yeah, I would say B tier, not A tier worthy, I would say, but definitely at the very least B tier. I thought, yeah, he was good. Maybe I'm gonna be harsh with that. I'm not gonna give him A tier. I'm just gonna say B tier. Yeah, he, interesting. Another character that looks kind of different, being much bigger. I'll say that. And so he was a good, interesting character, and I did like the beginning, the whole like initiation of Giorno into the Familia. So I thought that like little arc was pretty good. So yeah, I'd say B tier. This is, what's his name? I just had it pulled up here. Prosciutto. But yeah, again, I'm not good with Italian names, similar to Japanese names. They're just, I don't know, I'm not Italian or Japanese, so I'm not good at pronouncing the names really. So yeah, I would give him probably not as good as Pesci, but I would say B tier still. I did like, again, how he would like very much, he would say, I like the scene where he was like, Pesci's like, I'm not good for anything, and it's like he does come over to like comfort him, saying like, Pesci, it's like untrue, and he starts telling him like, no, it's like how much potential he has and stuff. And so I do like that, where it's like he does actually like he's a gangster and stuff, but he does still like comfort his brother, and so I thought that was good. So even so, I like Pesci a bit more, so I'm just gonna give him B tier. This is, I forgot his name, but he was the dude one of the dudes that initially went after Butrazzi's gang when they were going after Pulpo's money. Sale, yeah. I don't care for him, just another hitman that goes after the gang, Butrazzi's gang. Just, for him, he's not even a hitman. For him, it's like him and this other dude, I think his name was like Mario. They just wanted money for, yeah, it was very shallow, but yeah. D/ up here. Risotto, S tier. I think Risotto was the best hitman in the actual series. He was very cool. For one, his design looks like sick, I would say. Stand name Metallica, very cool. I started listening to Metallica just to get like at the very least Master of Puppets and Enter Sandman. I started listening to those songs like after watching this part. Not after, I actually started like a bit before, because in kind of preparation, because I do remember that his stand name Metallica was pretty cool. So anyway, yeah, so that's cool. His character himself, like being it's a shame. He could have killed Diablo if Narancia here didn't stop him. So Narancia is actually the reason that, like, I think here technically Narancia, if Narancia just let Risotto kill Diablo, then Narancia would have survived, as well as Abakio. I think Butrazzi still would have ended up dying, but still. So yeah, Risotto, he's cool. I love the fight scene with him and Diablo. I think or aka Doppio, I think was the best fight scene in the actual part, and just a cool character, leader of the Hitman team, which is also a cool aspect to him. So overall, I would just say S tier. This is Mario. I think his name is, or Zuka. I forgot what his name was. Let me see here. Why is it not listed here? Yeah, Mario Zucchero. I don't care for him. Just another random assassin that goes after Butrazzi and his gang. Just, again, don't care for him. I guess his stand was, again, we're not ranking the stands here, so just, his character himself is just boring. So these here. This is the sculptor that I think, yeah, Mista ends up like meeting at the, like, or he was in the flashback at the very end of the series that kind of shows like what. Honestly, I'm not the biggest fan of the whole like themes of part 5, where part 5 is very much. What are the themes? The themes are like that you can't escape fate, something like that. That doesn't seem like a very great message. I feel like. Let's hear themes of Jojo part 5. His whole thing was like, okay, you can't escape fate, you can't change destiny or something like that. What is this? Explores themes of destiny, the morality of ends justify the means in pursuit of dignity with corrupt society. It centers, okay, destiny and fate. The overarching theme is the inevitability of fate, highlighted by the sleeping slaves arc and the character's acceptance of their destiny's often brutal paths. Yeah, but that's not like a good. I guess it doesn't have to be like a good message ultimately, but I don't know. I do like themes of like, oh, you get to choose what happens to you. It's like you can you can change the course of destiny like through your actions and stuff. I feel like that's a bit more of a better theme, I would say. So yeah, I don't know how much I necessarily like. Yeah, there is a big emphasis on this theme of like where when Diablo uses King Crimson, it's like everything will happen the way it's supposed to happen. And but I get, okay, in a sense, I guess it is changed a bit because like Giorno does ultimately kind of change fates with Golden Experience Requiem. So I guess that is, I guess in a sense, changing fate. But yeah, I would say that, who was I even talking about? What character? Oh yeah, I was on this dude. What was the name even? Sculptero? Something like that? It's here. Yeah, Scolipi. I would say C tier. He was fine. I guess it was kind of interesting, like him explaining to me the whole thing about like the rock. I think it was called like the Prophecy Rocks, aka Rolling Stone. I think that's the Japanese name of it. So yeah, that is. He was fine. I would say C tier for a flashback. You know, I like the purple hair and stuff. That's cool design. Squallow. Am I getting that right? There was like a no Sekko. Yes, Sekko. Squallow is this dude. Sekko. I like the tag Jaeger. Yeah, Sekko is. I would give Sekko like C tier. He was fine. He was like the I don't know, slave or something of Chocolata, and they had this relationship thing where he would like film the atrocities that Chocolata would commit, and so he was fine about the same level as Chocolata, where I guess he was a bit more interesting of a character. Like he felt a bit different compared to just a lot of these filler assassins that face the Mutrati's gang. So yeah, just C tier. I would give him. Squallow. Yeah, I would give Squallow. Yeah, him and Tiziano, I like them. I thought that they were, you know, I like the relationship that they had, I guess, where it's like they were kind of looking out for each other. I thought that was good. I give them, like, out of the assassins, I'd say that they were some of the better ones. I'd go, not B tier. I feel like they're not memorable enough for me to give them B tier, but I'll give them C tier. I thought that they were pretty good, I would say. And yeah, they were both like kind of just like they were, again, just some more assassins that were going after Passione, but they actually had like a bit more, I guess. It was they had like, okay, I think they are like, I don't know if they're like actually in a relationship, but they were like very much like caring for each other and stuff, similar to what I imagine like Gelato and Sorbet were supposed to be. Like their relationship was probably similar, but we didn't get to see this relationship actually play out. So I think that this was like an actual, you know, we got to like see like a dynamic of two characters that are like very much caring for each other, and it's better than this whole thing between Chocolata and Sekko because they're just like they have like sort of a relationship, but it's like more so for like, I don't know, the very fucked up atrocities that they're committing. So I like that this one is built on, it's like a relationship kind of built not on, you know, murdering people and filming it, so that makes it better, I would say. So yeah, I would say that they were fine. I did like when Naranjo was ultimately going after Squallow, was his name? Yeah, Squallow for his breathing, and so like Tenzio, was that his name? I'm forgetting. Tiziano, yeah, he was protecting. He was like saying like, it's all right, like everything's fine, like don't worry and stuff. I thought that was like nice. That was comforting him. So C tier. Trish, I would give Trish like C tier. She was fine, but out of, again, I mentioned this in my review for the actual part. She feels very much just along for the ride. It feels like she doesn't have a lot of moments where it's like she's really, I don't know, interacting with the characters really, to be honest. She's in the turtle a lot, and she just feels like very much a very plain character that's just along for the ride. And I like the episode where she actually gets Spice Ladies, but it is just very much, I don't know, she is not that interesting, I would say. It's just C tier. And then finally Doppio. Doppio, I would give Doppio probably, I would say maybe S tier. Honestly, yeah, sure, I'll give him S tier. I'll be generous. I would say that I did like Doppio. I don't know. I liked his story moments a bit more than Diablo's, but I think that Diablo had the better action moments. So, you know, I'll be harsh. I'll just give him A tier. I liked, yeah, they're like one character kind of, but they are two. They're not even one character. They're like two very different characters, but they have like such different aspects to each other. So, yeah, I would say that they're both Diablo and Doppio. I would say are A tier. There's aspects I like more about Diablo and aspects I like more about Doppio. Doppio, I do like his kind of personality a bit better than Diablo's. Diablo's, I do like the menacing and fighting abilities, I guess, of him compared to Doppio, I guess, even though it's more so a stand that I guess I should give credit to. So anyway, we'll do side style, I guess, okay, we'll go C tiers. Last place we will go with, I will say probably Jojo, just because he's like a cameo, he's not really an actual character really. So then we'll go Trish, I will say, maybe not Trish, I'll say like, because she does leave a decent impact in the story, I'll say. I'll go, yeah, here's Seko and Chocolate because they're pretty fucked up. So, and then we'll go Trish. Then we'll go Tenzio and Swallow, and then actually I think yeah, we'll go this Sculpture dude. Actually, we'll put Trish above him. Yeah, I think that's good. And then we'll say Pericola and then the Gangster, I think. Yeah, I think that's good. And then for the B tiers, we will go with probably, who is my least favorite here? Honestly, probably Giorno. He is like very, very boring at times, it feels like, in Bucciarati. I feel like even, actually who's better, Bucciarati or Giorno? They're both fine, like not bad, but I don't know, I think I'd probably like, probably Bucciarati a bit more, I'll say, so yeah. Then we will say probably Pulpo. Then this dude, what's his name? What was his name? Let's hear. It was, I forgot what letter it was, but yeah, here, Giacchio. And then I think probably next, Paris, whatever it was. Prosciutto, yeah. Giacchio, Prosciutto. Then Fugo. Like, I really like the cop, like the one scene that he has. It was a really good scene. Koichi, I think I would put lower. Koichi, I think Koichi I would put like, I don't know. I'll put Koichi like, maybe, who's better, Fugo or Koichi? I'll put Fugo a bit higher than Koichi because it is like for this part. Like Koichi in general, I think is a better character, but Fugo in this part I think was a bit better, I would say. And then we'll go to the cop. Yeah, Abakio's like the old partner. Just, yeah, it was a really good scene where it's like Abakio, he dies, and then it's like he comforts him, saying like you were a good person and stuff. So, okay, now the A tiers, I will say that last place I would give to Mista, then Polnareff, I would say. Actually, maybe I'll give Mista a bit more than Polnareff, I'll say. Then we'll go Pesci, Abakio. Would I like better, Tokyo or Diablo? I'll say, I think I like Doppio a bit better, honestly. Yeah, just there's a bit more aspects to him that I enjoy more. So, like, I know Diablo is very reliant on King Crimson, so I think the character himself is like a bit, he's very arrogant and stuff, and yeah, I think just Doppio, I prefer more so to Diablo, and then I like better actually Abakio or Diablo. They're pretty similar, but I think I actually do probably like Abakio better than Diablo, I'll say. I think that's good, yeah. And then for S tiers, I think that I do ultimately, I think Risotto's probably my favorite character. I really like the scene with him, and he's not like the deepest character, to be honest, but he is still like a very good, cool character. You don't need to be like the deepest character for me to rank you top tier. So yeah, ultimately I think probably Risotto was my favorite character in part 5, I'll say, followed by Narancia, I would say probably. So yeah, that is my tier list of the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 5, aka Golden Wing characters. If you have any recommendations, any shows, movies, video game stories, anime, manga, web series, anything that you want me to review or rank or compare rankings, it does not have to be media related, leave it in the comments and I'll maybe possibly check it out. But that said, that is pretty much all there is to it, so let's leave it at that.